Welcome to Wealthy Mind, where we talk about all things finances, the good, the bad, the ugly, and the surprising. Welcome to Wealthy Mind. I am your host, Misty Rosegold, International Success Coach. And today I have back with us Mayor Marissa. Hello, Mayor.
Hello, thank you so much for having me on your show for part two.
Thank you for coming back. I am so excited for this conversation with you. So, would you please just take a moment and fill in the audience on your full name and where you are the mayor of?
Perfect. I am Marissa Harmon, and I am the mayor of the city of beautiful Lone Tree, Colorado, and honored to be able to take a few minutes of your time and hopefully teach you a thing or two about local government and the impact that I am hopeful to make.
Awesome. Thank you for sharing that. Okay, let's dive in. So, the first question I would love to ask you is, what is the budget that you are in charge of? How much is that, and what does that look like for you?
It's a big question. I would say it's
Mhm.
our most important role. As I kind of touched on last time, we have five city council members in the city of Lone Tree. I am, of course, counted as one of the five. And the five of us together, really, our main focus is always managing where the money comes in from and where it goes out
Mm.
to. And so this year's 2024 budget is in the range of $66 million. And it is hefty for a population of 15,000 within our city. But the one thing
Mhm.
I would like to share is you don't do this alone. So it is not just my decision making. All all of our decision making is, of course, with our city council and by a vote. But I would love to just kind of take a moment before we talk about the $66 million piece
Mhm.
is how
Mhm.
we even get to $66 million and where it
Sure.
comes from. So, I understood taxes quite a bit before I stepped into this role, but now I really understand how important our general fund and revenue is for the city. So cities can collect taxes all sorts of different ways. So a few ways is property tax. So most of us here in Colorado have seen a large increase in property tax. Fortunately, the city of Lone Tree does not assess its own property tax, which is it's a big differentiator from a lot of our
Mm.
neighboring communities. Another way that you can collect tax is sales tax, which we all pay. And so that's not on groceries, but it's on anything. Let's say you go to Park Meadows Retail Resort or a mall or Target, and you purchase any goods there, and you are taxed on for your sale. And the city of Lone Tree is lucky to be tied the lowest in the Front Range. Our sales tax is 2.5%. So we try to do more with less in the city of Lone Tree, and it's actually a large part of what makes up our budget is our sales tax. The other options are a grocery tax, which we in the city of Lone Tree don't assess, a car sales tax we do not assess, but what we also have is admissions tax. So if you go to a movie, currently we don't have a movie theater in Lone Tree, but we do have an art center and we charge an admissions tax. So we make some revenue off of that. And we also have a lodging tax, we have a couple of hotels here in Lone Tree. So it's a small percentage of our revenue, but a big portion of our majority comes from sales tax. So we have a large regional mall here that pulls in people from everywhere. And it
Mhm.
is a thriving mall. It doesn't look a day old. It's been here for a long time. And really our base is reliant on that mall. So an interesting part of why we are so successful and have such a hearty budget was very early on we annexed in Park Meadows Retail Resort into the city of Lone Tree so that we could capture those revenues and make sure that we're providing quality service, and as far as policing, snow removal, road maintenance, a whole host of other things to make us one kind of collaborative city. And really, that was our founding council members and mayors. So, huge debt of gratitude for their forward thinking into ensuring that Park Meadows came into our city. But also, our city does something pretty unique. We take half of the revenue that comes from Park Meadows Retail Resort, and we actually put it back into an account called the BID, or Business Improvement District. And in that account, they have to reinvest it into the mall. So if you've been to our mall, we have a beautiful outdoor
Mhm,
area called the Vistas, and that
mhm.
helps fund the Vistas. So we realize that we rely heavily on the sales tax there, and our investment back into the mall really, I think, is a crucial part of why we've been so successful. And so our budget is mostly made up of sales tax. In fact, out of our 66 million, $44 million around there comes from our sales tax, which is
Wow, that's
and
incredible.
our lodging and admission. So that's a pretty significant number that we rely on to come
Mhm.
into our city. And
Yes.
so with that, our $66 million budget currently there, then we want to talk about what kind of expenses we have. So
Mm,
a city budget really operates like a home budget. And so if you think about you have X amount coming in and X amount going out, of course, we always want to save some money. We want to have a rainy day fund, or maybe in your own home, you know that next year you need to replace your AC and your heating, and it's going to be somewhere between $10,000 and $20,000. Well, you would start to take some money and put it in a separate account and save for it. And that's really much what we do on our city budget. So the big pot of money comes in, and then when we look at what goes out, we have all sorts of different line item expenses, but we also have savings account as well. And so the line item expenses are one of our largest ones is our police department expenses. In fact, those are around $9 million to fund our police department. That's salaries, equipment, cars, all of the training, the
mhm,
software that they need to do their job successfully. So it's a significant investment, but it is also in our city. We really make sure that we're focused on our big strategic plan, and we have identified six strategic goals. And our number one big idea is our deep commitment to public safety. So that number really aligns with our strategy, and we really feel you won't come here and shop or dine or want to drive through our city if you don't feel safe. And
right.
so it's a really important piece. But then we have all of our different departments. So public works, so all of our roads, milling, overlaying, snow plowing, all the things that require us to get to where we're going and have businesses be open and thriving. Of course, we have just our general governance account that takes into account a whole lot of different things. Our municipal court, we have an account, an expense line for that. We also all love arts and culture and parks and rec. Of course, we
Mhm,
have expenses for all of them, and we currently have taken out some certificates of participation, which is a debt tool to be able to finance an 86-acre regional park, a new justice center, and a new public works facility. So we, of course, have an expense for our payment on that. And then when we look at our revenue, that is that money that we have coming in that I explained our taxes. But
mhm,
also, we have a whole host of different revenue that comes in. One of the biggest ones is our intergovernmental agreements, or we like to call them IGAs. There's a whole lot of acronyms in local governance, and
I'm sure.
sometimes I have to say, time out. Nobody taught me this acronym. So, IGA is an intergovernmental agreement, and every governance has them. So, it's our way to partner with other municipalities, or maybe the county, or maybe some other partnerships and invested stakeholders to be funding partners. So a really good example example for us is this High Note Regional Park I just mentioned. It's an 86-acre park that we're working on building off of our highway at Ridgegate and I-25. And we have to do that with partnership funding. In fact, almost every project is done with partnership funding. This particular one is done with South Suburban Parks and Rec, and in hopes to also gain a partner in our Douglas County. And so we form an IGA, which is a group of all of us that say, okay, we're all going to put in on this because we recognize the investment. So that's another really important piece to understand our budget. But
Sure.
I would say we are very lucky that I have a council of 4 other council members that have a very deep understanding of where money's coming from and the importance of making sure that stays stable, also where it's going. But we could not do any of this without our incredible staff at the city. So it's led by our city manager, Seth Hoffman, and our deputy city manager, Kristen Baumgartner, who has created a finance team that is, I think, one of the best, I would say, in the state. They really have continued to educate council and all of us on where we're at, where the money is coming in, where projections are. And that is very, very impactful to have the knowledge of making sure that all of our projections are accurate, and are the decision making, the process that we're doing really aligns with where our projections lie. So as you would know, if our projections were wrong and we invested too heavily in something, you know, our budget could be off balance. And so
Sure.
all of that really makes a difference to make sure it's cohesive.
Oh, that's wonderful. Thank you for sharing all that information with me. And the first thing I want to speak to is the city of Lone Tree. It feels like this amazing little bubble. Every time I go there, which is often, it's a bubble. And I love the little bubble that I step into. You can actually feel how safe it is. You can feel how much care is put into the people and the businesses. There's just an energy, there's a special energy about it. Like each little suburb of Denver has its own energy. Highlands Ranch has its own energy. Lone Tree has its own energy. Parker has its own energy. But Lone Tree always has this very like safe, uplifting, you're in a good space. Like that's when you walk in, you're just like, oh yeah, we're in a good space, and you just know it. It's so strong. So thank you for being a part of making that a reality for people.
Well, I just want to say thank you for saying that, Misty, because this is our number one priority. We want, when you drive into the city of Lone Tree, to feel a sense of arrival. And that part of that is safety, part of that is aesthetics, part of that is access, the high quality of life of the traffic is flowing and I can easily
Mhm,
get in and out of here. I can park where I need to get.
mhm.
We have a higher standard of design that I think really increases the level of businesses want to come here because they want to be a part of that. But I would love to take a moment to explain what a comprehensive plan is, because we're really digging in on that, on this
Okay,
comprehensive plan. So
sure.
every city has a comprehensive plan, and it is basically the umbrella that tells you where the city is going in the next 10, 20, 50 years, depending on, you kind of set a time limit. Within a comprehensive plan, it's a book that basically outlines all of the forward thinking of where we're headed. And our original comprehensive plan, when we became a city 25 years ago, says everything that we are now. So from our high quality aesthetics to our thriving businesses to our visionary transportation network to the access to parks, rec, arts, and cultural is really impactful and important. I know I've mentioned safety a few times, and that is always a huge priority. But making sure that your city is, you're actually writing down your goals, just like so many of us do. When we have a goal we want to hit, we have to put it to paper and watch
Or
it
like
come
a business
alive.
plan, right?
Exactly,
Yeah.
exactly. So this is our city plan. And so within that plan also is the framework that identifies what's unique about your city. And so when you drive, if you think about going to Vail or Denver, Aurora, Highlands
Mhm.
Ranch, like you mentioned, Castle Rock or Lone Tree, when I said each of those names, you got a different feel, right? You know
Mhm.
exactly what it feels like when you
100%.
pull in to that part of town, and and each of them are different and unique, and that's not just by luck. That is the visionary plan that the city council and residents together and businesses come together and really put together the framework of what they want to see come to life. And so that document is an adopted document by council, so council votes on it, and it becomes a document that we reference every meeting. And so anytime a decision comes before a city council, whether it's a large budget decision, or we're deciding to invest in more transportation measures that will increase access to residents and visitors in Lone Tree, it really goes back to our comprehensive plan. We're looking at our comprehensive plan to
Mm,
say, okay, did we say we want this? Does this align?
mhm.
Okay, if this aligns, then yes, this does fall within the framework of making sure that we can approve this and allow this to happen in our city. And so it's a very intricate document. But the first time I read our Lone Tree comprehensive plan, I was applying for a seat on our planning commission, and it just I guess I was compelled and inspired that the reason that we feel the way we feel in our city is because of our founders, and really, really grateful for the work that they have done.
Wow, thank you for sharing that insight with me. I had no idea that the city had a business plan, basically.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Everything is done to plan. Smart growth according to plan is really our mission, I think.
Well, it's incredible to just know that. I love learning new things, and you've taught me something new today, which is awesome. So thank you for that. And I'm so looking forward to this park that you're talking about because I'm a nature lover. So when is that supposed to be finished?
So the way that we have funded the park is through this certificate of participation, which basically starts a 3-year timeline. So that timeline started in
Mm,
April, and so
okay.
we're definitely will be within the 3 years. But our goal is 2026, sometime within that year. I think what everyone is experiencing in the year of 2024 is. We all know that nothing will be cheaper than it is right now. And so,
Hmm.
and it's
Hmm.
all still very expensive. So as we look to really build out this park, we are forming a generational park that will be here and be able to be added on to in all the years to come. But we're looking at multi-purpose lit fields, parking lot with a great parking lot and a playground next to it, dog park. We call it the braid of a sidewalk. So the sidewalks are actually
Mm,
going to weave together and interconnect. And within the sidewalks, we call them rooms. And so we have a lot of these individual rooms. So if you can imagine chess tables in one, and another one is maybe community garden, and another one is maybe a mini park that's a little quieter. And all that will connect to access for food trucks, a splash pad, integration into
mm.
Happy Creek Canyon, and then access to, we'll have a large amphitheater that could host up to 5,000 people,
Oh,
a
wow.
restaurant pad, hopefully maybe even a place for a coffee shop, of course, a large playground, some sort of courts of some sort. We're even looking at a challenge
Mhm.
hill where you would do the steps and have some
Yes.
sort of iconic
I was
art.
gonna ask you, I was like, wait, what about the fitness buffs like myself? Because I love the incline in Castle Rock.
So you'll love this. I met my husband on the top of the Manitou Springs Incline. So if any listeners have not done the Manitou Springs Incline, you should definitely do it. It's an incredible one
Oh,
mile up a mountain. And I met my husband and got engaged up there. So I
what?
wanted a challenge hill in Lone Tree. So we are so fortunate that we have put that in the plan.
Oh, yes, girl, I'm there.
Me too. Me too.
Oh,
Can't
that is
wait.
incredible. Oh my goodness. Like, I hope if we have listeners that have never been to Lone Tree, please visit. It's amazing.
And
Like,
don't forget to shop and go out to eat, shop and dine here while you're
yeah,
here. And stop at a
yes.
great park. We have a lot of them.
Lots of great restaurants, and I cannot wait for this new park and the new incline. Like, I'm all for it. The closer I can get to an incline, the better it is. So, okay. So, thank you for sharing that with me. I
Of
appreciate
course.
it.
Of course.
Where do you get your personal confidence to manage this amazing 60 plus $1 million budget?
Well, I think that is such a fantastic question. I really get my confidence from I think, a long line of entrepreneurship in my family. So my grandfather opened a meat market in upstate New York. My parents own a garage door company. I own, of course, roots in Maine. And through each of those endeavors, it's really given me an opportunity to understand budgets and the importance of making a plan of where you're headed and where you're going, and
Mhm.
making sure that it's accurate and driving your decision making, because really that is what drives your decision making, not just a want or a need. It's making sure that the finance arm comes together with that. Um, the
Mhm.
other piece that I want to share is when before I was on council, I had this opportunity to really lean in and understand our budget and how it operates and the importance of how it operates through our ballot initiative. Our sales tax was originally 1.5%, but as many of us know, we receive a lot more packages on our front doorsteps than we've ever received before, whether it be Amazon or
Huh?
online shopping. And so we started to notice that revenues were flattening at our mall. And as I touched on before, we really rely on the revenue from the mall to offer the same level of service. And when we saw the big red blinking light of these revenues aren't going to be increasing the same amount they have in years past, because people are shopping at home. And when you
Mhm.
shop and you get a package delivered to your porch, you're paying sales tax to your municipality that you live in, rather than you used to always go to a mall and purchase whatever you needed.
Mhm.
And of course, some of that has come back, and we're doing really well. And I feel very secure in how well our city is projected to do. But we'd be remiss if we didn't mention the change in shopping habits and the effects that meant on our city. So we really needed to take a hard look at our budget and had decided that
Mhm.
a 1% increase to tie for the lowest sales tax in the Front Range was definitely needed and necessary to continue to offer the same level of safety in our police department, and opportunity for partnerships with our IGAs and parks, but also our roads and maintaining our roads. We all know that no one likes to drive on roads with a lot of potholes or that hasn't been plowed, and
No,
that's a large expense, and we take that very seriously in the city alone too.
especially in Colorado.
Especially here, yes, you get a little bit of snow and some freezing, and a good road can go bad pretty quickly. So
Mhm.
maintaining our roads and our infrastructure is really an important piece. So with the passage of that ballot initiative and raising our sales tax to 2.5%, really secured our financial future to make sure we had enough revenue coming in to be making good decisions about our city. And so I have been given the confidence through city staff and through a great council beside me, but also through the way that my predecessors and past council members and mayors have really set a very strong foundation in their decision making to put us in a position that we have a very healthy budget, and I feel secure in what our future brings.
Yes, and thank you for letting me know that it is a 2.5% sales tax. I'm not a shopper in person, but it's actually making me want to go shop in person because the sales tax will be a ton less than what I pay elsewhere.
Yes,
So,
exactly.
thank
In
you.
fact, we have people come from all over the state to come purchase in our city because of our low rate. And I think as I mentioned, we're all feeling the rise in costs with everything,
Mhm.
whether it's milk at the grocery store or your utilities or your property tax bill. I mean, things are on the rise. And so sometimes those big purchases too matter. And so if you can come into Lone
Mhm.
Tree and make those purchases, we of course appreciate it, and pay you back with it coming into a city that's aesthetically beautiful and safe,
Mhm.
and has access to be able to purchase all sorts of different great things. And make sure you stop at one of our great restaurants along the way.
Yes, definitely. So you mentioned something about making or not making emotional decisions while dealing with a budget. Please expound on that because it is such an important topic for anybody that deals with finances. I don't care if it's your personal finances, I don't care if it's your business, I don't care if it's government. It is so, so, so important to not make emotional decisions while spending or budgeting or, fill in the blanks. So please take it away.
Oh, I would love to. So, I'm trying to think of an example I could give you that I really because I have gotten into the mindset of only making decisions based on our budget, that emotion really hasn't come into it. But I'll share with you, just on our business side of things at our salon, it is very easy to say, okay, we've been open for 7 years. We're ready to reinvest in a spruce up at our salon. And it's definitely a want, of course. We all recognize the investment that you put in, you can get out. And so
Mhm.
what we did is we sat down and really nailed in our budget and projected where we could be, and decided if we push it off by 2 years, we'll be in a much better financial position, and be able to pay it right then, and be secure in our decision making, rather than doing it earlier on because of the emotional side of things. And I have taken that and put that same decision making into the city. Is okay, if we are going to need an investment into, let's say, our infrastructure or our buildings, excuse me, and that decision was we needed a new justice center. So, of course, right now our police department is within our city hall. So half of it is our offices, half of it is our PD. Now we are a growing city, and we're a growing police department, of course, as our population grows. And so, really understanding, okay, we've used this space as much as we possibly could. We've taken advantage of every nook and cranny of a police department building, but now the finances say we have a great bond rating, we have good projections, and we want to make a decision based on safety, and using those criteria to say, yes, let's build the new justice center, to be able to give a hardened facility that's built for a police department, not taking an office building and retrofitting it for a police department, was a really important and huge decision on our city councils, on the dais. And I'm really proud to say it's a decision we all supported unanimously, because it's not emotional. It's not, okay, yeah, the officers
Mhm.
are crammed in there. It's, this is the data that we're looking at, and these are the decisions we're making off the data. And we are all very excited for a bright future. And I think it's also a
Mhm.
great recruiting tool for other police officers when they're looking and where they want to work. I hope that they would also pick the city of Lone Tree. So those are the things, that the criteria that we continue to look at, to not make any decision emotional, but
Mhm.
to focus on the data.
But I absolutely love how your mind works, because
Thank you.
I see that this is one of the ways that you are confident with yourself, because you have experience of having the temptation to make emotional decisions, and you refrained from doing it. Or you refrained from saying, okay, I'm going to do this simply because it's a desire. You're like, hold on. Is it logical? Does it make sense? What is the big picture on this? Right. So you have all this training from your life before coming into office. And now you're applying that big picture thought process into your job as the mayor. So I am in love with your thought process, because that's how my mind works too. It's to see the big picture. As a coach, I need to be able to see the big picture and how to break that down into small steps for people. So it's all the same, but we apply it differently in our roles, right? But I just want to take a moment to highlight how much I appreciate your thought process. So thank you.
Oh, you're so welcome. And I tell you what, I think that it's the big benefit of owning a brick and mortar storefront in the city that I'm now mayor of, which is
Mhm.
an absolute honor of mine, and an honor, I think, of a lifetime, that I get to serve the city that I love, that I'm raising my family in, and a growing business and a growing family, and being able to make decisions, good decisions. And you hope every decision you make is good, but making it with data and not emotion. I love that point, and I appreciate your willingness to share with me your perspective, because I think it's important that we continue um, on this same track for a very bright future ahead.
Oh, definitely. And for our listeners, please take note to that wisdom that Mayor Marissa is dropping today. Do not make emotional decisions. I know it's a spend culture. I know it's instant gratification culture right now, but that's not helping people. It's not helping their stress levels. Is it helping the economy? I mean, it's from your perspective as mayor, the
It,
spend culture that we're in right now, does it help the economy or does it hurt it?
There's of course a city that relies on sales tax. You could say that it definitely helps, but what doesn't help is when we have the increase in such significant inflation and all of our expenses across the board, whether it's, like I mentioned, insurance and utilities and school supplies. We're doing back to school supply shopping. It's you're spending, but then what happens when there's a big halt of, oh, okay, we need to pull back, or but we continue to try to encourage. I know I do personally as a business owner, and our youth and other business owners, of making smart financial decisions so that we are, I truly feel we are all better off when we all have a plan, and that we're really growing and evolving according to a plan.
I love that. Thank you for sharing that insight. And I agree with you. If we can get to a place of consistency instead of these mountains and valleys in our bank accounts and our spending habits, like everything is just better for everybody else. So,
I couldn't agree more. Well, just a great question. So thank you so much for that.
of course, and thank you for sharing your wisdom. I am so grateful for the time that we've spent together, and I'm grateful to have you as a guest on Wealthy Mind Podcast. It has been an absolute pleasure, and hopefully we will have you back in the future.
Of course. Well, I'm looking forward to it.
Thank you. Well, everyone, if you love Mayor Marissa, please support her. Support the city of Lone Tree. Come and shop at it, dine, go on a little walk through the beautiful little streets, whatever it is that you need to do to support her. You don't have to do anything directly with Mayor Marissa, but you can support her by supporting the city of Lone Tree. So please do that. And if people want to respectfully reach out to you, how can they do that?
They can do that by visiting the website, and you will find my email address on our website under City Council. And I actually think it's just under City Council members, so you can reach me there.
Awesome. Thank you so much for your time. I hope you have a wonderful rest of your week.
Thank you so much, Misty, for having me on the show. I really appreciate it.
All right. We'll see you next time.
Thank you for tuning in to the Wealthy Mind podcast. Please be sure to download the Wealthy Mind app today and make sure to support your local Dress for Success.